Imagine! You and the besties are off to the Appalachian Mountains for a weekend of rugged adventure and some much-needed emotional recovery. The kind of trip where you hike deep into the woods, back into a remote cabin, and wind up adventuring into a cave system you've been completely misled about. It's supposed to be healing, nature, bonding, closure. Instead, it's an airtight coffin where everything that can go wrong does, and that's before the humanoid cave monsters start eating your friends alive.
So when you're trapped way down there at the very bottom of everything in what might actually be the actual hell, do you think through teamwork and determination you and your friends can get out of there in one piece?
Wait, you do? Well, you're wrong.
And today on Strange Thoughts, I'm gonna let Juno why.
I said Juno.
It's showtime.
I just keep on having all these strange thoughts.
We begin today's journey to the truth with Sarah and her friends whitewater rafting. Sarah's husband and daughter cheer them on from a riverbank. God only knows what she'd be without them.
They paddle back to shore, and sure, the first person Sarah's husband greets isn't her. It's Juno. It's not suspicious at all, though. I mean, it's not like they're sleeping together or anything. That would be absurd. Good grief. There's Sarah's best friend Beth being Beth, always assuming things and making sex positions out of molehills. Emotional best friends. Nothing more, nothing less.
On the way back to the hotel, Sarah asks her husband if everything's okay. He's been acting distant lately, and for some reason, completely overhauled his wardrobe to only clothing worn by Jack Nicholson in The Shining. He says, yeah, you know everything is...
Fender bender.
Sarah was unfortunately the only survivor. I sure hope Juno will be able to heal. They weren't f***ing, okay? 1 year later, Sarah still can't watch the Stanley Kubrick version of The Shining. She's trying to get there though, and this weekend, for the first time in a year, she's embarking on a girls' trip with her actual friend Beth and her half-friends, Juno, Rebecca, and Sam. They arrive at the lodge and say their hellos, and we have the unfortunate displeasure of meeting Holly. This girl, man, she's like the human embodiment of flat Mountain Dew, 305 cigarettes, and cocaine laced with This whole trip was meant to reintroduce Sarah to the world, get her dry-ass feet wet again, with the kind of wild, adrenaline junkie fun she used to live for. You'd think it would be handled with extreme care, but unfortunately, reason number one, your trip planner is Juno. Juno is that one friend who self-appoints as the leader of the group, because obviously without her loud type A energy and unsolicited motivational speeches, you'd all just crumble immediately.
Wiki! Give me 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
So of course she set this whole trip up. Project Get Our Sarah Back. The plan, as laid out by her, is for you guys to explore the Borham Caverns, which according to Miss I'm the captain of my kickball team, who the f***ing F are you, is a totally beginner cave system that is touristy and lame.
Have you done Borham Caverns before?
It's for tourists. It's not adventure. Might as well have handrails on a gift shop.
Which, why is that a problem? Sounds like a really safe way to try something new with a bunch of your friends.
Boredom caves. More like boredom caves.
Chlorophyll? More like borophyll.
I'd give Juno well-deserved props for this plan were it not for the fact that when you arrive at the trailhead and start to unload, she very discreetly leaves the Borham Cave guidebook behind. Why'd she do this, you might ask? Because unbeknownst to the rest of you goofs, you will not be descending into a well-mapped, beginner-friendly system. No, instead, you're rappelling into an uncharted cave with no name, no exit plan, and 0 recorded expeditions.
It's beautiful!
Yeah, no, totally. So are black holes. Why don't you rappel into one of those next, weirdo? These reasons why are the worst because it's not your own stupidity that ultimately leads to your doom, it's someone else's selfish, reckless decision making. The biggest thing this friend group has in common is their thrill-seeking mindset. They flirted with danger before and came out the other side ready for what might come next. So when it comes to these Borum caves, as far as they know, it's a safe tourist-friendly system. Hence why the red flags do not register. Like how not entry-level the entrance to this supposed entry-level cave system looks like, or when Sarah rappels in and notices a bloody handprint smeared across the wall. She mostly brushes it off, probably some kid who went a little jackass stunt crazy and got a boo-boo. You can't tell me you can string together a plan to beat or avoid the impossible when you're under the assumption there is nothing to fear at all.
There's only one way out of this chamber, and that's down the pipe.
Is she good at talking out of her ass or what? Down the pipe you go. Where you're going, literally no one knows. No one who's lived to tell about it anyways. Over lunch, Juno tries to initiate a heartless-to-heart with Sarah. She apologizes for not being around more after Sarah's husband and daughter died, but does not apologize for bumping uglies with her husband because you should never apologize for something you did not do. Sarah takes a look around and apparently finds the next passage. That looks promising, just so long as you got Rick Moranis there to shrink you first. One at a time, they crawl in and navigate through this narrow passage. I would never. And you know they're all thinking the same thing as they squeeze through. I sure would hate to see a medium-level cave if this is what a beginner's one is like. I could be wrong, but it looks like Sarah might be stuck.
I am stuck!
Leave a like and subscribe if you hate it when that happens. Seems like an appropriate time to remind you guys this trip was planned for her, meant to make her feel less alone in her grief and remember the fun they have together as a unit. So yeah, way to go, Juno. Beth, who unquestionably proves herself to be an actually decent friend, crawls over to Sarah and offers dirty joke distractions as a means to calm her down.
How'd you give Lemon an orgasm? What did you do? You took lip citrus. Okay, that's better.
Willed by her friend, Sarah pushes herself forward, but just as she realizes she needs to grab hold of the rope bag, the ceiling starts to cave in. Reason number 2. You are officially trapped. She manages to barely make it out of the situation, but your pathway back to the entrance? Yeah, that's not a thing anymore. Up until now, it's been all about carefree exploration. Unknown, uncharted dangers or not, you had that entry point to go back to if and when things got weird. There's not much reason to panic though, cause according to the guidebook, there are 3 separate ways in and out of the Borum Caverns. Psst, you wanna tell your posse the truth about where you are? Or should I?
I knew this wasn't right!
Juno has been found out. She poorly tries to rationalize away her actions. Says this is what they've always believed in. If there's no risk, what's the point? Says she did this for Sarah. For all of them. The cave has no name. They could discover and name Juno Ham together. Dude, go online and buy a fucking star. Name that. I mean, come on. Reason number 3. 0 chance of being rescued. Before going spelunking, filing a flight plan with mountain or cave rescue services is a critical safety measure in case you go missing. It includes your name, the people you'll be spelunking with, which cave you rascals are heading into, and a detailed time frame for when you'll arrive and when you're supposed to crawl back out. That way, if you don't check in, someone knows it's time to come looking. Unfortunately,
I put in a flight plan for Borum Caverns, and this isn't Borum Caverns.
your only option here is to venture deeper into the unknown in hopes of finding another way out. Cool. They don't get far before hitting a sheer drop that cuts them off from the ravine they need to reach, about 20 feet across. Problem is, amidst the commotion of the ceiling collapse, Sarah left behind the rope bag. Rebecca volunteers to freestyle maneuver over to the other side, all while setting up a rigging line for the others to cross over too. The screenplay expands on this moment, and we learn this wild display of bravery on Rebecca's part is not something she has any experience with, and that she simply saw it once conceptualized by an instructor on an artificial wall over a block of crash mats. Poor naive Rebecca. What she's probably referring to seeing is her own film's How to Beat video, and this is exactly why I am so intent on warning you sheep against watching such utter madness. Considering what she's about to attempt and the fact that she has absolutely no experience doing it, there's 0 chance she'd ever, in reality, make it. And when she falls to her death, she'll take all the gear with her, so even if you wanted to try again, you're screwed. Alas, it's simply in the script, so while it cannot translate into a reason, I still felt it was worth a mention. While she carries out this Ethan Hunt mission, Rebecca sees something, well, an old baton hammered into the fissure, proving without question others have been where they are, but for whatever reason, never made it out. Rebecca makes it to the other side. They toss her the rope, and one at a time, the others make their way over to God knows where. In God knows where, they discover cave paintings depicting what appears to be 2 paths out of this cave system. Thank God. It's become a good news day. Seems everything is gonna... Uh-oh. That can't be good. As they pursue the second exit they've just become aware of, Holly's Adderall wears off. And when she thinks she sees sunlight, she bolts ahead, separating from the group. It turns out to be not sunlight, but luminescent algae, and she walks right over a sinkhole. Juno tries to pull her up, but it's no use. And Holly, no offense, unfortunately survives with just a broken leg. So, same loudmouth, more dead weight. Awesome. And we're talking a really broken leg here. Bones sticking out, see it and pass out broken leg. You go down to where she is and play doctor, and I'm telling you guys, just censoring this part, I literally got lightheaded. Thanks a lot, Holly.
Disgusting!
Even with a gross broken leg, she always looks so pissy, like, "Oi, hurry up and fix me broken leg, you shite cunts." While the others tend to Holly, Sarah discovers something. Is this the Bat Cave? Is that a Batman mask? No. Looks like an old helmet. Another dude who probably died down here. And then she hears what sounds like a predator but ends up being a golem. Of course, nobody believes her, and now feels like an appropriate time for reason number 4. Your friend group would not cut it. In an environment like this, 9 times out of 10, you'd be way worse off alone. But this is that rare 1 in 10 exception where having others around actually makes everything worse. It's like you all secretly despise each other but haven't realized it's mutual. So you fake a connection to play nice, even though it's obvious no one actually cares. From deception to withholding information.
What's wrong? There's nothing.
Nothing. No sign of former life here, that's for sure. Making reckless decisions that screw everyone else over.
Holly! Slow down!
You're already doomed, and you haven't even hit the truly terrifying roadblock yet. You guys press on with your new 120-pound human backpack and end up stumbling into a chamber where Terminators are packing heat, blasting everything in sight, and oh, sorry, I got my movies mixed up because the ground here is covered in bones. Your minds are racing, you're terrified, and your brains turn to mush. No one knows what to do. Then Rebecca screams for help way too loud. Help from who exactly, sweetheart? The cave concierge? And then it happens. Reason number 5. Human-eating terrifying crawlers. These aren't just monsters. They're nature's answer to what if a white spike and rage virus infected Spider-Man had a baby and raised it in hell. They breathe in mildew, shit out echolocation. For all you know, their bones are made of titanium-laced spike. You'd think you'd be able to outsmart and outfight a species evolved to kill anything that moves in 0 light and is capable of doing hundreds of side push-ups without stopping to rest? You do? Well, you're wrong, and honestly, I don't even need to tell you why, because you and I both know the truth. So shame on you. All you guys want to do is get out of there, but you've reached the point in this cave system where it's no longer one path forward, but several different passages in all sorts of directions to choose from. And the crawlers aren't just hunched around drooling anymore, they're full-on stalking you losers. Seems you didn't learn your lesson from Jurassic Park about playing with flares, which is unfortunate because a crawler moves in and rips into Holly. I wonder who she left her Razor scooter to in her will. Most of you guys scrattle because Holly, but Juno goes full Mortal Kombat against this guy and is able to finish him. Beth hurries over to congratulate her, only...
Brutality.
Oof. Manslaughter to the throat. Beth's face says, "Please don't leave me," but Juno's face reminds her of reason number 4. She leaves behind something, but meh, it's probably nothing. Sarah teaches us that it doesn't take long for these crawlers to invade our nightmares, and now I am going to teach you all there is to know about these things that will undoubtedly see to it you're doomed. Trait number 1, voracious flesh eaters. So Sarah comes to in another pit full of bones. These ones, though, seem disturbingly fresh. Holly's body drops in like dirty laundry, and through the camcorder's night vision, Sarah watches as the crawlers tear into her with feral, flesh-hungry frenzy. Hey Holly, would you still describe this place as boredom caves, or has that ship sailed? Trait number 2, hyper-tune to sound. Try as she might to stifle it, Sarah can't help but let out the quietest gag humanly possible. Still, it's enough to pull the crawler's attention away from dinner and straight to her, dessert. Trait number 3, blind as a bat. It comes within inches of her face, but with her not moving a muscle or making a sound, like her husband when Juno enters a room, it doesn't register her presence. And like Sarah's husband when Juno would call out, these crawlers immediately rush over. Some of you dodo birds might see their blindness as a weakness, but it's not. When you've lived your whole life in pitch black caves, you don't need sight, and your body evolves accordingly. Hearing and smell take over, and those senses don't just get better, they get weaponized. These things don't need to see you when they can hear you sobbing from across the cavern, or smell the piss scared out of you on your pants. Let's just be crystal clear about your odds here, okay? The best you can do is run or hide or tremble violently while you desperately try to suppress a whimper. But even running and hiding won't work for too long at all. These things, the crawlers, are perfectly evolved apex predators. Again, they're blind, but down here, that doesn't matter. You're in their world now. A pitch black labyrinth of echoing stone and raindrops and endless dead ends. And in this world you so regrettably find yourself in, they own you. Sure, maybe you managed to take 1 down or 2 or 5, whatever. The number's irrelevant because there's more. There's always more. They swarm, they stalk, they wait, and they have survived down here by being patient, coordinated, and relentless. You don't win against them, you delay the inevitable. Fighting is noise is death, escape is fantasy. Click your heels and wish for home, but home won't come. You're not just up against monsters, you're on their turf, playing a game they've already mastered. And down here, luck is just borrowed time. Sam's time runs out, so does Rebecca's. Soon, yours will too. And when Juno flees into the water after watching Rebecca get ripped apart from all sides, we learn yet another key trait associated with them. Trait number 4. They are tactical. She immediately comes face to face with a dead crawler, only this sneaky devil isn't actually dead. The fact that it drew her in on the fly as she entered the water shows these rabid flesh eaters aren't mindless at all, but incredibly calculated. Sarah, who's been on her own decompressing for a minute, ends up finding Beth, who's still alive because movie magic. She tattles on Juno and gives Sarah the pendant that she left behind after the whole accidental throat stabbing incident. The quote engraved across the center reveals a shocking revelation that Juno actually was, in fact, sleeping with Sarah's husband, because it's basically his motto or mantra. Sarah Mercy kills Beth, which triggers the arrival of some super hungry crawlers, but she too is very hungry for the same exact thing. She falls into an actual pool of blood, and if earlier Juno went full Mortal Kombat, Sarah rises from this blood pool full Carrie post-prom with murder on her mind. She starts unloading on these crawler demons, unhinged with that untapped, now tapped strength of a potential final girl. As Juno tries pulling herself out of the water, Sarah appears from the darkness to give her a hand. What ensues next is a very ill-timed attempt at closure, but they've got crawlers to deal with for this time, and they look pretty pissed. This fight is an actual blast to witness, and forget Mortal Kombat, Juno goes full Super Saiyan and Kameha f***ing Mehas the final crawler in the sequence. This changed everything for me for a moment. For one, it almost makes you forget what a person Juno technically is, but more importantly, with someone like her there, you can't help wonder if the person who got you into this mess is also the one person truly capable of getting you out of it too. Damn it. Reason number 6. Juno cannot save you. Where Juno finds her calling, Sarah loses her mind. After the year she's had, the horrors of this cave, and the brutal revelation during her brief reunion with her dying best friend, the title of this movie wasn't in reference to a cave, but the descent into total irreversible madness. The argument could have been made that Juno could get you out of this. I would have probably listened. But Sarah shows Juno the pendant, then off a crawler growl distraction, cripples your one possible maybe shot at survival. After taking a moment to bask in Juno's reaction to her betrayal, Sarah leaves her to die, along with the tiny shred of hope you might have had. And down a random path Sarah goes. Where she's going, no one knows. She pulls a Holly and falls down a pit, thankfully less daunting, and guys, could it be sunlight? Sarah Crawler ascends her way up to freedom. She breathes in the beautifully muggy humid air, makes it to the car where of course the key is just waiting to be turned, and she drives off into the sunset, victorious. Just kidding. You might think Sarah deserves a happy ending. She lost her daughter, her unfaithful husband was forced to meet Holly, and embarked on this trip with hopes of rediscovering herself. Thing is, personal struggles, morals, what is deserved or justfully owed do not factor into circumstances you conclusively can't survive. We navigated this uncharted cave, we did the math, and simply put, you can't beat the descent. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm sorry you perished. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe for lots more. Till next time, hasta la vista, baby. Fine, let's address the elephant in the cave. Reason number 7. The eye in the sky is not a greedy studio head. So The Descent wasn't some massive studio tentpole. It was made for around $4 million and ended up doing insanely well. Well enough that the salivating suits in charge demanded a sequel immediately, and they had to know it would be garbage. Everything about it screamed cash grab. Naturally, they brought Sarah back, even though yeah, f***ing right she made it out, but even more ridiculous, they decided Juno was still alive too. Juno, who was so dead it wasn't even funny by the end of the first one. The first one. I can't believe I have to call it that. It should have been a really solid one and done film. But yeah, instead part 2 happened. Basically aliens if aliens sucked and took place down in hell instead of up in space. The story in the sequel wasn't the only thing that sucked, though the characters were awful too, more on that in a bit. It kicks off sort of where the last one left off, but not really. It was already confusing to begin with because the real ending, which we covered in this video, ends with her back in the cave, while the US ending took scissors to the reel right before she comes to alone in the dark. But this one, though, I guess changes both endings slightly, where she jump scares someone's car window, and I don't know, she's got blood on her, sure, but not like she did or would after just surviving the hell she went through. It's like she got out of the cave, ran home, took a shower, came back, and then panic smacked the car windows, scrubbed most of it out, but understandably missed a few spots. She's taken to a hospital where the local sheriff, Baines, immediately treats her with all the warmth of a bitter TSA agent in a loveless marriage to someone who works at a DMV. This guy thinks the word trauma is just an acronym for theatrical rats, always using meltdowns as excuses. For whatever reason, he is dead set on going into the cave and seeing if any of the others are still alive. An answer Sarah can't provide because she's so messed up from what happened, she completely blacked it out. The obvious solution here? Slap a helmet on her, hand her a flashlight, and drag her back down there to see if it shakes loose that stubborn repressed memory. His deputy or whatever's like, "Sheriff, we mustn't." And he's all, "The hell with mustn't, that will be fine, now let's go." And there's a couple in this one, so, you know. This time around they could mix some love story stuff into everything. Babe, like, calm down. I won't let those golem bros eat you, babe. We're gonna get out of here, babe, and like get married, you know? Like dead ass, I love you. I'm rambling, sorry. All of this is to say, unlike the weird world of movies, in the real world of life, cash grab sequels aren't a thing. Where on one hand you have a fantastic horror film, if this scenario were to actually happen, the headline would read "Awful Tragedy," with no hopes of magically whisking you out of that cave so the universe could immediately toss you back in. We good here?